What is going on, guys? As I mentioned in the previous video, GTA Joined with Work is taking all of my time, but I thought I would work on a new video for you over the weekend, so here it is. Because Hippowdon is currently OU, or at least it was last time I checked, my UU Sand team kinda fell apart, but rather than splitting it to a few new teams, I decided to give it a try one tier higher. Yes, what you are looking at is a proper OU battle, one of the very few on this channel. In fact, my opponent by the name of Dandi doesn't plan on making it easy for me, as he has brought a solid looking team with Hitran and Gliscor defensive core, neither of which takes any damage from sand, and if it wasn't enough, they are backed up by Porygon 2, which is always difficult to break through without the fighting type. As for the rest, I'm assuming Gengar and Garchomp are meant to deal early damage and weaken down the opposing walls so that the Gallade, which is obviously a Mega, can clean up afterwards. That's how I interpreted my opponent's team before the battle. Now let's see if I was right and if my ex-UU team can handle it. I lead off with Nidoking, because I know that either a Gliscor or Garchomp is going to be a Stealth Rock lead, so I want to keep them out of the field for now. He indeed leads off with Chomp and immediately switches to Porygon 2, which actually takes decent damage from Ice Beam considering that I am Scarfed, so that tells me that he is physically defensive, and therefore my only hope of breaking through this thing is either Toxicking it with Hippo at some point or overpowering with Calm Mind Reuniclus. In fact, I realized that Reuniclus is my winning condition and that it must be kept alive, as nothing except Gengar won't be able to break through it without setup. Anyway, right there I switched to Hippowdon, predicting him to go for a Thunderbolt, predicting my Empoleon, but he just goes for an Ice Beam and it does a bad ton. So then I do switch to Polarity, set up my Stealth Rock as he T-Waves me for some reason, and then find out that I didn't even need to bring Hippo in the first place, as Thunderbolt does only around 30% after leftovers. I get fully paralyzed though, which enables me to roar this thing out of there, so then I decide to switch to Reuniclus to test the waters as he recovers off back up to full. I set up a Calm Mind as he switches to Hitran, confirming that he is specially defensive, and then go for a Focus Miss, which sucks ass because I really could use some early damage on this thing. It would make my job a whole lot easier later down the road. To make matters worse, he rolls me out to Stoutland, which doesn't have a superpower on its moveset, and I certainly don't want to risk a Lava Plume burn, so I go right back to Polarity to take it. Then I roar him out of there and drag out his Gengar, which allows me to use the standard bait trap gimmick that I have used in the previous battles with this team. I decide to let him finish off my Empoleon, which surprisingly lives the Shadow Ball like a beast and does a good damage with a Scald, so that I can bring my Hippowdon safely, set up my Weather and bait him to stay in and go for another Shadow Ball, which I then absorb with Stoutland, and that's a dead Gengar. No drama. So now that it's out of the way, I am free to bring my Reuniclus, which I do as he finally gets to set up his rocks. Then I go for a Psyshock just to see how much it does, so I can tell what kind of set is he running, and it does surprisingly little damage, but then again I am running max HP max defense with Bold Nature, so I also take his Earthquake really well. Now here, despite that his Garchomp is clearly a more defensive variant, I don't see a Dragon Tail coming, so instead of going for Recover, I switch it up to a Focus Blast predicting a Hitran, and as a result, Reuniclus is out of there with just over half of HP left, which means that I can no longer switch it freely on any attack. He drags out my Nidoking, and at this point, I thought that me going for an Ice Beam is obvious, so instead, I decide to once again try catching Hitran on the switch with an Earth Power, and once again I am wrong. It just misses a kill on his Garchomp, my Nidoking is down and out, and suddenly Gliscor has become a problem. If my Reuniclus goes down, I lost. It's as simple as that. I go to Stoutland and lock myself on return so that his Gallade can't come in and set up on me. Instead, he brings his Hitran, and I make another terrible play by thinking that Reuniclus can sponge a special hit from the range it's at. Lava Plume does a lot. Honestly, at this point I thought it's over. I really did. However, probably knowing how much I depend on it, my Reuniclus survives the following hit with clutch 1 HP and keeps me in the game. He does get a special defense drop though, so I decide to play it safe, death fodder my Hippowdon, set up the sand for the last time and abuse it. First things first, I am getting tired of this thing walling my Phantom. it is time to deal with it, and Gigalith is the one to do it. But instead, I try putting on prediction puns for the third time this game and go for a Stoned rather than safe Earthquake predicting a Gliscor, but either he is always one step ahead of me in the mind games or he doesn't even participate and laughs at me for trying so hard. Probably the former. Thankfully, Gigalith is bulky enough to take 2 flash cannons and doesn't have eyesight issues, so Hitran is finally out of the way, but we are still far from having the game in the bag. In comes Gallade, and I am hoping, and I can only hope, that Return joined with 2 turns of sun damage will be enough to take him out, but then he reveals a Drain Punch, which makes me think that maybe he is a bulk up variant, in which case Reuniclus should be able to handle it. But then Phantom comes in and kills it. No sand damage, no nothing. And I am like, what the fuck? This thing was literally staring at me a second ago at nearly full health, and it's not like it's frail, it has base 95 defense. It's dead. Now that was impressive. And that's not all. Turns out Gliscor isn't stopping it either. That's a clean 50% right there. Holy shit, Phantom doesn't fuck around today. But of course, this flying scorpion has to be carrying the damn knockoff, and without Choice Band, Porygon 2 is able to take 2 returns. If it wasn't for that, Dog would have swept his team. Take a good rest, Phantom, you have done well, Reuniclus will handle it from there. So although Stoutland tearing through his team would have definitely looked cooler, Reuniclus, which is without a doubt the MVP of this game, is the one to finish it. Thanks to burn from Hitran's Lava Plume, I don't have to worry about Ice Beam Freeze, and neither Porygon nor Gliscor are in no way able of taking it out, so I can set up all the coal mines in the world, and eventually I finish off both of them, and that is the game. Good game, Dandi. Every single prediction I tried this game failed, and if it wasn't for Reuniclus 1 HP survival, one way or another you would have it. But if anything, this proves that the well thought out UU team is capable of winning OU battles even if there are fuck-ups on the player's side. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, in which case don't forget to leave a comment on your way out, and as always, I see you all next time.